So believe it or not, the Golden Globes nominations and the Critics' Choice nominations are literally just around the corner. They're going to be happening in the first week of December, whether you think they're important or not. This is going to be my second year trying to predict for this award, so maybe I will be totally off. I don't really know if I'm doing anything that crazy or that different. This is still going to be like my take. I'm just going to be using the Award Expert app today just to make it easy. If you want to follow that, my name is right here somewhere. So let's just hop right into the predictions. So I'm going to start with the Critics' Choice Awards predictions because that's going to be first. They're going to be announced, I believe, December 4th. From what I know, I believe the Critics' Choice tends to do the things that are popular, like they try to predict the Oscars themselves. From what I can tell, that they kind of ignore the international films. We'll see if this year is the same. I'm not sure. So for Best Film, this is what I have. It kind of goes without saying. One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, I think Marty Supreme, those four are given. I'm not sure. This is mostly just about the nominations, not necessarily the win. I feel pretty confident that those ones are going to get in. Next up, I actually still have Wicked for Good. I know that with the release of Wicked for Good and the critical reception, it's all been quite low, especially compared to the first Wicked. However, the first Wicked was extremely popular last year at the Critics' Choice Awards, and I think John M. Chu won Best Director, right? In my personal opinion, I think that the people that like the first Wicked are gonna like the second Wicked, and so it's going to kind of still keep that popularity going. I don't think that the bad reviews and all of that is really going to stop it. I think that it's still going to be fine. It might not win the things maybe now. So I think Wicked for Good is in my 5th slot for the Critics' Choice. I do have Sentimental Value in at the 6th slot because I do think that even though it is more of an international film, I think it has some English language in there and it has some popular actors that American audiences are familiar with. I feel pretty okay with putting Sentimental Value in there. Editing Savannah here, and I just wanted to say that after the shortlists came out, I feel a lot more confident that international players might have a bigger role this year compared to other years, since some of the international movies did make shortlists. So I do feel a little more confident with that. However, it is just the shortlists, so I do want to be a little cautious that still maybe at the end of the day they're not going to choose them. But keep that in mind that the shortlists did have a lot more international flavor this year, so perhaps there is hope yet. I think for number 7, Frankenstein is pretty safe to get in there. I think like that one is going to be one of those films that are nominated everywhere and it's kind of all over, but really it's not going to like win anything besides some technical categories. That's kind of how I perceive Frankenstein to play out this season. Number 8, I do have Avatar Fire and Ash. Is it eligible? I'm not sure because have people actually seen this movie? I'm just gonna err on the side that it's fine and it's gonna be released and everyone's gonna see it and it's gonna be there. For number 9, as I was going through these predictions, like, man, it took me a while. Like, I was really struggling. For some reason, I have this inkling, I have this feeling that Jay Kelly is gonna be pretty popular here. Actually, I do have Jay Kelly at number 9. I'm not really sure if that's gonna pan out. I think maybe because of it's like an industry movie, you know, really popular, Adam Sandler, George Clooney, and then I actually do have Weapons at number 10. I think that that's the one that I'm going to predict, and I'm going to try to hope predict this into existence. If Weapons makes it to Best Picture, you're welcome. If you liked Weapons, and if you didn't, I'm really sorry. I'm kind of doing that because I feel like it's one of those popular online movies, and maybe sometimes the Critics' Choice Awards does that, like with Saltburn and such like that. Kind of just think that maybe it's a thing that they would do. So that's going to be my best film lineup for the Critics' Choice Awards. Next, going down on the Awards Expert app here, we have the Best Comedy. Now, I kind of struggled with this one, but I'm kind of putting it a mix between films that are in Best Picture and some random ones. I have One Battle After Another. I think Wake Up Dead Man is a pretty safe bet. I do think The Naked Gun is going to get in here. I think it was actually really popular and really funny. I do think Begonia can make it in here. I think it's going to be quirky and funny enough that it will go in here. Marty Supreme, I think, is going to kind of show up in a lot of places. And I'm going to go out on a limb now, and I'm going to say Splitsville. I think this movie was like a pleasant surprise to a lot of people. So let's hope Splitsville can make an appearance here. For Best Director, we have our usual players. We have Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, and then I do think John M. Chu will still make it in here. Now, sometimes the Critics' Choice, I think that they have like sometimes 7 or 8 nominees. I think it really depends depending. In case they go up to that number, I am going to say maybe James Cameron for Avatar Fire and Ash could get in here, or Jay Kelly, Noah Baumbach for Jay Kelly. So yes, I do actually have Joachim Trier missing for this, which is probably a really foolish mistake, but I'm kind of going off of this idea that international players unfortunately are going to miss here a little bit more. So I don't know, let's see. That's kind of the 8 that I'm sticking with. But the first 6 are the ones that are kind of like the solidified in case they do just stick with 6. We'll see if this snub pays off, because I do think Joachim Trier should get in there. For best ensemble, I think Sinners, One Battle After Another are going to be safely in there. I think Wicked is also a pretty safe bet for that. Wicked for Good. Wake Up Dead Man is a great ensemble choice. And then I'm going with Marty Supreme and then Jay Kelly again. I wasn't anticipating it. Have I watched one too many Adam Sandler movies recently? Perhaps you noticed one of those pictures was not like the other, and that is because after the shortlists, Wake Up Dead Man is not eligible for the best ensemble in a shocking twist. So instead, I actually decided to put A House of Dynamite, because A House of Dynamite actually had pretty strong showing in the shortlists. And hey, a Netflix movie for another Netflix movie. It just kind of seems like something that maybe they would do. A House of Dynamite, it's not really that inspired of a choice, but I'm just kind of throwing it in there instead of Wake Up Dead Man. For Best Actress for the nominations, I think Jessie Buckley is going to get in everywhere. I do think Cynthia Erivo will still get in here. Rose Byrne, Amanda Seyfried, I think that they're going to get in here. I do think Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value will still get in here, and Emma Stone for Begonia. These are all pretty safe. I don't think I'm doing anything too crazy here. Maybe, I don't know, you let me know. I think that these feel right to me. For leading actor, Timothy, Ethan Hawke, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think those ones are going to be pretty safe bets. Michael B. Jordan, I feel a little less confident in for some reason. And then I do have George Clooney for Jay Kelly in here, and then I am putting in Jesse Plemons for Begonia. After the shortlist came out, I do actually feel more confident that they're going to nominate Wagner Moura in the Critics' Choice, so I have swapped out Jesse Plemons for Wagner Moura. For supporting actress, I am sticking. I mean, I've put Weapons in Best Picture, so what else? Why else would like what the hell else would I be doing? So yeah, Amy Madigan, I have her number 1. I do have Ariana Grande in here. I think she will be fine. Tiana Taylor seems like a pretty safe choice. I am keeping Elle Fanning in here, kind of going off of the idea of less international, which I know is terrible because, I mean, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius, I think, has been in a part of the conversation for a long time now. So maybe I'm just being a complete idiot here, but that's what I'm here for. I'm the not so smart predictor, right? So maybe you come here to have a laugh. I don't know. I kind of think Gwyneth Paltrow will get in. She's just gonna kind of show up in these, especially when there's like a category of 6 maybe. Something in me is telling me to predict Regina Hall for here. I don't know why. I don't know what's possessing me, but I'm gonna do it. So I think maybe Regina Hall is going to get in here. For supporting actor, I've got Stellan in here. I think Paul Hamnet. I think Paul Mescal is going to get in here. Sean Penn is going to get in here. I think those 3 are pretty safe. I do think Adam Sandler has a pretty strong chance. I don't know. I think The Sandman, he might be a surprise this year. Who knows? Jacob Elordi and Delroy Lindo, I think they're going to show up here. So again, I don't know if I'm doing anything extremely different. I'm going to go kind of quickly through the other categories just to show you, because I mean, the nominations are just around the corner. I kind of want to show you what I have in total. For original screenplay, I'm going to go Sinners, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Weapons, I do think is going to show up here. Jay Kelly and Sorry Baby. I'm going for it. I think that these are popular movies and I'm just going to do it. Adapted screenplay, we've got One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Begonia, Wake Up Dead Man, Frankenstein, Wicked for Good. I think that these are pretty safe. Best foreign language film. Now, does it matter that all of these movies are neon? I have no idea at this point anymore, but I really just can't not predict a lot of these movies, like based on how popular they are and how well received they are. Like, I know they're all the same studio. At this point, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna predict them. So Sentimental Value, it was just an accident. No other choice. The Secret Agent. I'm actually gonna go also with Sarat. I'm gonna do it. Those are all neon movies, but you know what? Neon made the choice to swoop them all up this year. So maybe that will pay off for them and they're all gonna get a nomination. I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna round it out with Sound of Falling. I do think that that one is going to show up here. Animated film, I think that this is like the pretty standard 5. I'm not doing anything too crazy here. K-pop Demon Hunters, Arco, Elio, Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2. I don't know really if K-pop Demon Hunters is going to win the Oscar. Right now I kind of have it winning, but I'm not really quite sure. But I do feel like it could win like the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice. I don't know, maybe. Best cinematography, we've got our usual suspects: Sinner, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Frankenstein. I am putting Wicked for Good in here again. Just kidding, everyone. It was not on the short list, so instead I am just going to toss in Marty Supreme. I'm going to put Train Dreams because I did actually just watch Train Dreams the other day, and that was so good and it was so beautiful. I really hope we live in a world where Train Dreams can get cinematography nominations because that was gorgeous. The colors, they were so good. I'm going to put Train Dreams in for cinematography. For editing, again, I'm not sure if I'm doing anything crazy here. Maybe one. I got One Battle, Sinners, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, F1. I mean, it has a lot of editing, right? It's a pretty exciting movie, so maybe they're going to throw that in there. I think F1 might not do too bad for technical categories. And I'm actually going to do something that I kind of have been seeing in some spaces. It would be really cool if it was there. I'm going to put No Other Choice in for best editing. So let's see if that can make it in. Production design, we're going to go with Frankenstein, Wicked for Good, Sinners, Hamnet, Avatar, Fire and Ash, and The Testament of Anne Lee, I think will show up here. The Testament of Anne Lee. You know, Past Savannah was onto something because actually The Testament of Anne Lee did not show up in the shortlists. So I have decided to not put that in there, obviously. And also Avatar, Fire and Ash is only eligible via write-ins. And I'm not confident that people are going to remember to write that in. I feel like visual effects, they definitely will. But the other categories, I'm not quite sure. Basically, I've decided I'm going to swap it out for Hedda and No Other Choice. Looking at the lists, those are the ones that I feel confident and inspired to do. So I've swapped out Avatar, Fire and Ash and The Testament of Anne Lee for Hedda and No Other Choice. Costume design, Frankenstein, Wicked, Sinners, Hamnet. I think that these movies are going to be pretty strong for the text. I think The Testament of Anne Lee will get in costume design. And I am going to try to throw one out. I think maybe something like Kiss of the Spider Woman will get costumes. So part of me was thinking maybe Hedda could get in for costumes, but I don't know if Hedda is as popular as Kiss of the Spider Woman. Since the shortlists came out, I have decided to switch it back to Hedda because it's a movie that I've seen and I really enjoyed the costumes in it. And since it's on the shortlist, I'm gonna do it. So I'm changing Kiss of the Spider Woman for Hedda, actually. Hair and makeup, I'm going Frankenstein, Wicked, Sinners. I do think Weapons is going to get in here and 28 Years Later because typically horror doesn't seem to do too bad in the hair and makeup category sometimes. And then lastly, I'm putting The Smashing Machine in there. I think that seems to be a popular choice among people. They dangled it in front of me. They did it and I have to do it. I am now switching The Smashing Machine for The Ugly Stepsister. I know that means I'm going to have 5 horror movies in here, but my thinking is that maybe 1 or 2 of these will be right. I don't know. It's kind of an idiotic choice, but for the simple fact that they shortlisted The Ugly Stepsister, I feel compelled to try to get that in there. So I'm switching The Smashing Machine for The Ugly Stepsister, even though that is probably a terrible decision. Visual effects, I mean, come on, Avatar, Fire and Ash, you kind of have to do that. Frankenstein, Wicked, Superman. And then I am going to say F1 and Sinners are going to show up here too. I don't know, I just kind of have this feeling. So that's going to round out my visual effects category. Stunt design. This is a new category this year, right? So that's going to be kind of exciting. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. So I put Mission Impossible, F1, Wicked for Good, One Battle, Sinners, Avatar. I think I went with what kind of the consensus is going to be, maybe at least on the Award Expert app. So that's going to be my choice there. Just because I am so unsure with this whole write-in thing, I have changed Avatar, Fire and Ash with Superman. So we'll see about that. Sound, I believe, is maybe another new category as well. I'm not sure. Sound, I put F1, Sinners, One Battle, Wicked, Frankenstein, Avatar. So it's kind of like the usual suspects here again. Joke's on you, Past Savannah. I have switched Avatar, Fire and Ash for Surat. For 1, I think because of the whole write-in thing. And for 2, since it was on the short list, I think this is so much more of an exciting and inspired choice. So I'm switching it for Surat. Original score, Sinners, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Frankenstein, and then now where it gets a little bit interesting. I think F1 might show up in score in places because Hans Zimmer is so popular. He has so many nominations like everywhere. I kind of think sometimes we're gonna be getting those random scores that, I mean, the F1 score is not that bad, honestly, but it's like because of the name of the person. So that's why I think Hans Zimmer for F1 will be in here. And then I have Jay Kelly. Okay, let's just stop right there, Savannah. Jay Kelly was not shortlisted for score. So to cut to the chase, I have decided to put in Marty Supreme for score. Best song, I've got the Sinners. I've got the K-pop Demon Hunters. I've got the 2 Wicked songs in there. Pretty obvious. And then I'm throwing in there the Avatar song. We all know why I'm here. So instead of the Avatar song that was not shortlisted and instead of the F1 song that was not listed, I instead have decided to substitute Train Dreams' song, the Train Dreams song by Nick Cave, which is so good. And I really hope that one gets in there. And then I also am going to swap in another Sinners song, Last Time I Seen the Sun, because one, it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I hope Sinners gets a lot more love here. So I've decided to put those 2 in instead of the F1 and Avatar song. And then last but not least, I have for Young Performer, I'm putting Miles Keaton in for Sinners, Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another, Jacoby, how do you say his name? Jacoby Jupe in for Hamnet. I've heard great things about that. I do think Carrie Christopher would be wonderful for Sinners. He did such a good job and he was so adorable. I would love to see that. Alfie Williams for 28 Years Later. Like, I think that seems like to be a popular choice on the app. Honestly, I don't disagree with it. And the last one I'm going to go with is Benjamin Pagic. I don't know how to say his name, for The Life of Chuck, because I thought that was a really cute and good performance. So I kind of hope that one gets in there. I'm just kind of cutting to the chase for this video, but yeah, that's my Critics' Choice nominations, because today I also want to talk about my Golden Globes nominations, so it's just a lot of me blabbing. I'm so sorry about that. I guess I just blab a lot. Golden Globes might be a little bit easier to predict because it has like so much more space for everything, so kind of everything just gets in, really. The Golden Globes recently, they have become much more international, it seems. I don't know, let's just cut to the chase and let's just talk about what I have for the Golden Globe nominations. Best Picture Drama, I'm gonna go Sinners, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, Frankenstein. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I do think it was just an accident we'll get in here. I think at the Golden Globes, this is the place where maybe more of these international movies are going to shine. So I do think it was just an accident is going to show up here alongside Sentimental Value. And actually, I think for my number 6, I am going with Train Dreams, because I kept reading all the time that maybe people thought Train Dreams was this like sleeper hit nobody was suspecting and it was going to come out of nowhere. And I'm not quite sure yet. I wonder if maybe it still is like a little too small to make it into Best Picture at the Oscars. I do think with such a large category, an open category with the Golden Globes, Train Dreams could sneak in here. So I have Train Dreams down as my number 6. For Best Picture Musical or Comedy, we have our usual players here. We have One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme. I do think that Wicked for Good is going to get in here as well. I mean, with such a big lineup, I don't see a reason why it would miss, honestly. I still think people that like Wicked 1 are gonna still like Wicked 2. I don't know. I think Begonia is gonna get in here. No Other Choice, I think, will make an appearance here. I'm not afraid to put another neon movie in here. And then I do think that The Testament of Anna Lee is gonna round this out. I really wanted to put Weapons in here. I actually don't know for sure if Weapons is gonna campaign as a drama or musical or comedy. I know I'm probably the only person in the world who thinks Weapons is gonna get any kind of picture nomination anywhere. I was just looking at it and I don't see Weapons being the kind of movie that makes every, like, even if it, for some weird reason, it made Best Picture, I don't see it being the kind of movie that's gonna make every single precursor, right? I have to have it miss somewhere, and now that the Golden Globes is being a little more internationally minded, a little more auteur, perhaps it will miss here. I don't know. I mean, I already know all of you are just like, what the fuck is this girl talking about? But, it is what it is. For Best Director, I have Paul Thomas Anderson in here, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. I do think Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident is going to make it in here, and Josh Safdie is going to round it out for Marty Supreme. These all feel pretty safe to me. For Best Actress Drama, Jessie Buckley, of course, gets in here. Renata Reinsve, I think, is safe. And now, like, the rest of the actresses for the drama, I think it's pretty interesting how I was struggling with this. So I kind of went with a little bit of what the consensus is going to be. Jennifer Lawrence, Die My Love could definitely be an interesting pick here. Tessa Thompson for Hedda could be really fun because, I mean, she did a really good job in that movie, even though it was a little mid, so to speak. I do think maybe like Sydney Sweeney could get in here for Christy. I mean, I've not seen the movie. I don't really believe in that movie at all. And there's been lots of, controversies around her. Definitely let me know what you think about that because this is a very interesting category. So I do have Sydney Sweeney and Julia Roberts for After the Hunt because I just really don't know who else is like realistically going to get nominated here unless I'm just missing someone. Well, after the Astor nominations came out, they have definitely inspired me to do something. And even though they nominated literally everyone under the sun that they could, they did not nominate Julia Roberts for After the Hunt. Instead, they nominated a different Julia. And with that, I am inspired to now predict Julia Garner for Weapons for the drama category. So I'm going to do that. So thank you, Astros, for that inspiration. For Best Actress Comedy Musical, I kind of have safely at number 1 Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I loved that performance. I think she was phenomenal in that movie. Honestly, I'm going to predict her to win the Globe. So I think she is in here for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I've got Cynthia Erivo in here as well. I think it's pretty safe. I don't really know about the order of this. I'd probably change it, but I've got her in here. Amanda Seyfried for The Testament and Lee. Emma Stone for Begonia. I think those ones are pretty safe. I am going to throw in Chase Infinity in here for One Battle After Another because I do think, again, maybe she's a Globes thing. Maybe because it has such a big lineup here, she could get in. And then I'm putting in Kate Hudson because it doesn't seem like the movie is that wonderful. If she does at least a somewhat good job on it, she could probably get in here. Yeah, so that's my Best Actress for a Comedy and Musical. For Best Actor Drama, this is actually where I'm really confident in Wagner Moore to show up for The Secret Agent. So I kind of have him at number 1 here. I do have Michael B. Jordan in here for Sinners because I do think it's going to be a very popular film that will be nominated in a lot of spots. I am putting Joel Edgerton in here for Train Dreams. I think that would be a really inspired and wonderful nomination. So I really hope he gets that. Jeremy Allen White, I think he still could get the Globe nomination. I mean, there's 12 spots that need to be filled here. So, I mean, I think he could easily get in. It doesn't seem like he gave a bad performance. I still have not watched that movie yet, so need to see that. Dwayne Johnson for The Smashing Machine. Again, it's a big open category. He did a good job in the movie, so I don't see why he couldn't get a nomination here. And then I struggled with this last one, but I decided I'm throwing in Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein. Maybe because Frankenstein is becoming a little more popular than we anticipated. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm going to throw in Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein and the 6th slot. For Actor Comedy Musical, this one I struggled with again. Timothée Chalamet, Ethan Hawke, I have there. Leonardo DiCaprio, no problem. I am putting in George Clooney for Jay Kelly. I am putting in Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice. I think that would be wonderful and inspired to do. And then I have Brendan Fraser for Rental Family, which is kind of crazy. I know, because I think that like there's a lot of other choices people have above that. And I know I have Jesse Plemons missing for Begonia. I know, and I'm pretty sure the Globes really likes Jesse Plemons because they nominated him for Kinds of Kindness, right? I want to predict something wild, and I think that it's going to be Brendan Fraser is going to make it for the Globes. Maybe Lee Byung-hun misses and Jesse Plemons gets in. I think Jesse Plemons is probably there. I'm being an idiot, but I'm gonna do that. I don't know. Best Supporting Actress. Once again, I have Amy Madigan as number 1. It's just what I'm gonna do until I start seeing her not nominated anywhere. But for now, Amy Madigan, number 1. I gotta do it. Ariana Grande, number 2. Tiana Taylor, Elle Fanning, and I do think Inga Ipsdottir Lilias will make it into here. No doubt about that. And I'm going to pull a crazy. I'm gonna do a crazy, and I'm putting in Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners in here. I want to see her show up somewhere, and maybe the Globes is the place that could happen. For Best Supporting Actor, I think we've got Stellan Skarsgård, Paul Mescal, Sean Penn in here, no doubt about that. I am keeping Delroy Lindo in here for Sinners and Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, and then I am putting in Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly. I do think he's going to show up in places. Maybe he will get that Oscar nom. Who knows? I have this thing too. I was just looking at an interview of him the other day, and if he gets the Oscar nom prom, and if for some reason is it a universe where he wins, I really hope he does his acceptance speech in a sweater and jeans. I really hope, because I know he doesn't like wearing suits. That would be amazing. I have Adam Sandler in there. This is going to be rounding out my 6 supporting actors. For best screenplay, I mean, I think there's nothing pretty crazy here that I'm predicting. I've got Sinners, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, Hamnet, and Marty Supreme. I think those ones are all going to show up here. Nothing too crazy. I kind of just have the same 6 for my best non-English language film, I think, as my Critics' Choice, but that's because I honestly just don't know what else to do. So for now, I've got Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, Surat, Sound of Falling. So please let me know what you think the other choices would be, because it kind of just seems like those movies are the ones, like I know I could do like a Nouvelle Vague or something like that, but I just don't feel that inspired to do it. Like these ones feel good, so I'm gonna do that. For best animated feature, it's kind of the same as the Critics' Choice ones. You've got the K-pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2, Arco, Elio, Little Amelie, and then for the 6th one, I decided to throw in Your Dreams. I don't know anything about this movie, but I was looking at the list of ideas, and this one just felt right, so I'm not sure. I see it's available to watch, so maybe I'll give this one a watch to see what it's all about. I'm throwing in this one because I don't know how confident I feel in like The Bad Guys 2 and sequels. We already have Zootopia 2, which is probably gonna show up. I don't know, maybe this one will show up, but has anyone seen it? Am I making a complete blind idiotic prediction? Probably, as per usual. Ah, yes, the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award, the most prestigious award of the Golden Globes. We have Sinners, Wicked, Avatar, Superman, F1, Weapons. Here's its Best Picture nominee. A Minecraft movie. And I'm kind of throwing in Lilo and Stitch because it just feels right. And I kind of have Sinners at number 1 just because I feel like it's a movie that no one really expected to make that much money, and then it did. So I think it would be really, really awesome for that one to win the Box Office Achievement Award. But maybe it'll probably go to like Wicked or something like that. Who knows? Original score, we have our usual suspects here. I kind of am doing the same thing as the Critics' Choice. Sinners, One Battle, Hamnet, Frankenstein, F1, Jake Kelly. So these are not super inspired. It's honestly because I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that these are the ones we're running with. You know, I just watched Begonia last night, and to not be a complete bore, I decided to change things up a little bit. So I'm switching out the score for F1 and the score for Jake Kelly. Instead, I'm going to be predicting the scores for Begonia, Jerskin Fendrix's score, and The Testament of Anne Lee, Daniel Bloomberg's score to get in, maybe with the international flavor. Begonia and Anne Lee's score could get in. And I'm doing the same thing with the original song as the Critics' Choice. Just kidding again, it is pretty much the same. I am keeping the Sinners song, the 2 Wicked songs, and the K-pop Demon Hunter song, and I am going to keep the Avatar song, but I am going to instead change the F1 song to Train Dreams, because I do think that one is going to be much more popular this season. So this is what I have for the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globes. I know this was just a lot of me blabbing, but I just really wanted to get this out there. I don't think anything is too crazy. I'm really excited to see the nominations. Again, we have the Critics' Choice. I believe that is being announced on December 4th in America time. And then I believe the Golden Globes is December 8th. Lots to look forward to. The Oscar season is just about ready to kick off, so I'm super excited. What do you have nominated? What do you think is a lock? What do you think is going to be snubbed? What do you think of my choices? How far deluded am I in Weapons? Yes, very. If you liked what you see, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, do all the YouTube-y thingies. It really helps me out. I appreciate you supporting me and watching these videos. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in another one. Bye-bye.